Hey there guys, this is Don from Prana-Tech. Today's video I'm going to give you a review of the latest welding helmet that I got from Yeswelder. I've been playing around with it for a couple weeks now. I have been doing some TIG welding with aluminum and some MIG welding of steel, and I have to say I really love this helmet. I really think it's a game changer. When I first started getting auto darkening helmets years back, it made a world of difference in my welding compared to the old flip down that I had to nod my head and hope I was still in the same spot. And so a few years ago I bought a really nice helmet. I bought a Hobart $300 Pro helmet, and it was a great helmet. I'd had a couple of cheapies before that, and they did okay, but they weren't very good. They didn't have any adjustability, and the Hobart Pro that I had was a great helmet, but it had a really small viewing area compared to a lot of the newer ones. And I used it for a few years. I loved it. It really changed my welding. I could see a lot better because I could adjust, the darkness of it. But it had a fairly small viewing. It only had about 2.5, maybe 3 square inches of viewing area. But it worked great. But I always found myself out of position, like welding under my car or in an off-canter position where I needed a little bit more view. And so I actually did a bunch of research 2 years ago, and I bought an HTP striker. And I've had this helmet for 2 years now, and it had a much bigger viewing area. And it had a lot of great reviews, and I really liked this helmet. As soon as I got it, it had all the adjustments that the Pro helmet from Hobart had. I really liked it, and I've been welding with it for 2 years, and I've loved it. This has been a great helmet, and at the time, it was everything I needed. But about 2 months ago, when I bought the Yeswelder MIG that I've been using for a while now, a couple of my buddies bought the same welder after using mine, and they really liked my my Yeswelder MIG welder, and they were like, "Hey, this thing's a great deal." So 2 of my friends bought them, and they didn't have a welding helmet to go with it. And I said, Yeswelder's got a lot of great options now, and they're one of the up-and-coming companies for making high-quality, affordable helmets with a lot of great features. So both of them bought the Yeswelder Q800D helmets, and they brought their welders over because 2 of them hadn't welded before, and so I got to teach them how to weld with the Yeswelder MIG, and I got to use their helmet. Well, I have to say that the difference between that helmet and my my Hobart or my HTP is night and day. I've never even looked through a true color welding helmet before this one, and this thing is just like looking in the daylight through your welding helmet. Instead of having that dark green, really dark color, this has a really bright view. And honestly, it's the closest thing to being able to not need a welding helmet while you're welding as you can get. And after I played with theirs, I was really impressed. I have to say that this is by far the best welding helmet I've ever owned. And when you've owned a $300 helmet before and one that costs $100 blows it away, that's pretty impressive. This is an amazing piece of technology, and it has all the features that my more expensive helmet had, and a couple that it didn't. One of the things I really like is it has the external darkening, so that I can actually light it up with either my TIG torch or my MIG, and I can dial it down so that I get just the right while I'm on the fly. So having an external darkening adjustment on the outside I really like. It's one of those things that you don't really think about till you have it, and then you're like, oh wow, this is really nice. Everything else it has is pretty much the same as a lot of the expensive helmets. It has a, an adjustability for delay, an adjustability for sensitivity. One of the things I like is that it has a test button, so that if I want to adjust before I get welding, I can actually hit test and see how dark it is just by looking at my bench or where I'm going to be. Sometimes I'm outside in the sun, sometimes I'm in here in a darker area on my bench. So it's nice to be able to adjust it. It's got 3 settings for grind, cutting, and welding, in case you're going to use it with a plasma cutter, or if you're going to use it where you're going to have a lot of sparks and grinding, you can wear that. So it comes with a really nice helmet bag. It's a soft coated on the inside to keep it nice and clear so it doesn't get scratched up. I tend to keep mine in a bag, and neither my Hobart Pro or my HTP came with a bag, so I had to buy one. So when this one came with it, I was like, that's a really nice feature, because one of the easiest things to do is just lay your helmet down and get it scratched. Well, this one comes with a nice plush lined bag that when I'm done I can just put it in it, hang it up, and I don't have to worry about it getting scratched. This thing does come with a manual. It comes with a outer shield. One of the nice things is that it has about a 270-degree view around. It has windows out the side as well as the front darkening lens. The sides on this model don't darken, but the front does. But this gives you a good view, so at least you have a really good idea, even while you're welding, where you're at. If you're up underneath stuff and you need to move and do a continuous weld, these are things that help you, get a better spatial relation wherever you're welding, if you're in a cramped quarters and things like that. I really like the view in this welder. It's really comfortable. The headgear that this thing comes with is the most comfortable I've ever worn. It's got a really plush cover on the front and all the way around the sides, and the back is a really soft, pliable rubberish type pad, and it really sticks to my head. And that might be because I'm bald, but I still think it's nice and cushioned, and it even has some gripping grooves in it, so even if you had hair or a hat on, a welding cap, this would still pull down nice and tight. It's fully adjustable, and it's probably one of the most comfortable headsets or headgear that I've worn inside of a welding helmet. One of the things I like is that it has this panoramic shield that goes over the main lens housing. This is a really nice feature because it protects the whole thing, and it comes with a couple of spares in the package. So you got a couple, and they're coated so that down the road, if somehow you drop it, or eventually they just get scratched from cleaning, and you're like, hey, I just want to put a new one on, you got a couple of spares, and you can get them from Yeswelder as well on their website. It comes with an easy-to-read manual. It comes with an inner cover for the actual lens on the inside that's replaceable. So if that gets scratched up, you can replace that as well. It does come with a spare battery, which is nice. That way you know what size to buy. You always can have a spare ready. It's an easy to change battery. So when you get started welding, you have a spare, and if it goes bad, you'll have another one that you can keep welding the same day. A lot of times with my other welding helmets, it always seems to die on a Sunday where I can't go get a battery. Well, you don't have to worry about with this one because it's all ready to go. So one of the things that I'm going to show here is I'm going to run a couple of beads on some steel, and I'm going to hook up my HTP because I believe it's a pretty good representation of a traditional green lens welding helmet. It's a really high quality helmet that I've been using for a while, and so that should give you a good view of what it looks like. And it'll give you a head-to-head comparison. So you can see the difference between the views of this helmet and what a traditional auto darkening welding helmet does. So I'm going to get set up, I'm going to get the camera set up inside the helmet, and I'll shoot some footage with both of them, and I'll show you what that looks like so you can get a good view what the difference is and why I believe this is a much better helmet than most of the others out there. Alright, stand by, I'll get it set up.
Alright, so the first weld here I'm doing, I shot with the Yeswelder Q800D. I want you to pay particular attention to the bead to the left of it, and you can see how crisp and bright the view is, and you can see all the little details of the bead and how bright it is. When we get to the next one, I'm going to leave the plate in the exact same spot, and I want you to watch the bead that I just laid right next to it, and you can see how much darker it is and how hard it is to see any detail in that bead that was right next to it. So I think it's pretty obvious to see how much clearer and brighter the true color Yeswelder is. I'm going to run both clips together side by side so you can compare them and see the difference. I think it's pretty obvious to me, even through this camera, when you're looking through the welding helmet itself, it's amazing how bright and clear this Yeswelder helmet really is. Hopefully you can get that from this footage. Here's a look inside the helmet so you can see the controls. See the test switch on the left. You also have your button for weld, cut, or grind to switch from those modes. You have sensitivity adjustment and delay of the timing of when it kicks on, and there's the battery door. You can see that it does have the wing windows on the side for view, one on each side. Helmet's a little dusty, I need to clean this, sorry about that. But you can see the view. We'll also take a look at the headgear. You can see that it has a standard ratchet adjustment, a nice soft pliable pad for the back of your head. It's adjustable and pivoting in a few different spots, so you can pretty much adjust it to any size head. It has a really nice plush pad that goes all the way around, even on the sides, which is something that a lot of the helmets I've used don't have. I kind of like that. It keeps anything from chafing, especially on my bald head. That's pretty much what the headgear. It's really nice. And here's just a video of me messing around with some TIG welding so you can see what the helmet looks like when it's on. It's a very comfortable helmet, probably the nicest I've ever worn as far as being able to use it for long periods of time. And yeah, my favorite part is being able to use it for TIG. I've never been able to have this kind of visibility when I'm TIG welding. And this has really helped me, especially with my aluminum welding, which I've been learning for about a year now, year and a half, somewhere in there, and it's really helped me a lot. So,
all right, guys. So that's the footage I shot. I think you can see by looking through the green, you can see how dim and really hard it is to see. It's not bad. It was a great improvement over the old days with just one fixed lens. But the clarity of this helmet is so much clearer, and the fact that you can see it without having that dark green color makes all the difference in the world. One of the most important things to make really high quality welds is to be able to see your weld puddle. And especially if you're doing really fine welding, like TIG welding, one of the hardest things for me is doing really small aluminum welds with my TIG. And sometimes I have to really get down close, and sometimes it's really hard to see, especially if you're back in a corner and you're trying to weld down in a groove. And since I've gotten this helmet, it has improved my TIG welding immensely. And even my MIG welding, it's so nice because I can finally see. And so being able to have that bright view has made a huge difference, especially in my aluminum welding. one of the hardest things with aluminum welding is doing a fillet weld in the corner. You have to have your stick out on your tungsten right out next to the weld puddle to keep it flowing and to keep good penetration. And so you're always right on the edge of dipping your tungsten into the weld puddle and keeping that perfect distance away. And so I'm always occasionally dipping my tungsten down in there, and this helmet has made a huge difference for me being able to see exactly where my tungsten is and what my gaps are at. So for me, this has been a huge improvement in my ability to see. So I think this helmet is worth every penny, and it's one of the best improvements I think you can make to your welding as far as quality of welds. This will really make your overall product look way better if you switch to a helmet like this that you can see. So that's it for my review on the Yeswelder Q800D. I hope you enjoyed this. This is a great helmet. I'm going to put a link in the description for a discount. Yeswelder sent me a discount link the other day, so I'll put it in the description, and you can get 10% off if you want to buy one of these helmets or one of their welders. I've really been impressed with this company's quality, and their products are an amazing value, I think, for what they're charging for their helmets and their welders. I think you're going to see in a few years these things really start to creep up in price, because as people begin to realize the quality that they're putting out, it's only a matter of time before these products start to raise in price. And I'm glad I got one of these, while they're still an affordable product. I think there'll always be, a very competitive marketplace, but the prices they're charging are incredible. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. I'm trying to get as many subscribers as I can, so I'd appreciate it if you subscribe. And stay tuned. I have a whole bunch more videos on welding. I've got a bunch of projects I'm working on right now, welding projects and mechanical stuff that I'm going to post up. So if you want to see the projects that I'm working on, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That way you get notified when I come out with a new video. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.